spending plan has been described by critics as the most corrupt budget, citing millions in alleged insertions.
The House version indicted insertions. It went to the Senate. The Senate and the Congress had a bicameral committee. The bicameral committee was composed of many representatives. Then they decided to make it a small committee. The small committee was 4 people. President Jesus Guerrero, Speaker Romualdez, Senator Grace Poe, and
Hello Kuya Bugs Vlogs. Good afternoon. Thank you for watching.
is the plan on Saltico? Well, was in the U.S. Now, then I saw some posts where he's supposed to be in the house, he changed his name, and things like that, no? But you know, in the U.S., we can extradite people. And what is important now is that cases need to be filed. This is not a legislative inquiry issue anymore. Yeah, I think it's a criminal thing. I mean, cases have to be filed.
Senator Escudero's slapping Munoz allegation against him called it laughable. He also insists the alleged kickbacks endorsed in substandard projects began with the 2022 budget and not the 2025 spending plan. Escudero calls on the public not to be distracted by what he called a diversion. ABS-CBN News is still trying to get the side of numbers and polls. President Marcos reminds the newly promoted leaders of the armed forces to always uphold the rule of law. Correspondent Gina Domino now joins us with that story. Kat.
Hi, Carmina. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reminded officials of the armed forces of the Philippines that their new ranks are not just mere milestones, but instead these are renewed pledges that their loyalty will remain with the Constitution and the Filipino people. The president gave that statement after the oath-taking ceremony of some 40 officials from the Philippine Army, the Philippine Navy, and the Philippine Air Force. Now, that event also comes a day after Malacanang belied talk of a possible military destabilization as corruption issues surrounding flood control projects continue to hound the Philippine government. Here's what the president said.
Today is not only a milestone, but a renewed pledge that your loyalty remains with the Constitution and the Philippines. Always act with integrity, uphold the rule of law, defend our democracy. Set an example to young men and women who will look to you for your leadership. Rest assured, this administration will do the best we can to provide you with the resources and benefits so that you can focus on your duty.
Not knowing what's going on in my business, that's what keeps me. The fact that we
Hermina, the commander-in-chief, also assured the military that the government will provide for their needs and lauded troops for their improved tactical readiness to ensure that the AFP is prepared to respond to situations not only in the Philippines, but also in other countries that may seek the aid of Philippine forces. Now, this oath-taking event in the palace also comes days after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said that Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, his cousin, and their allies in Congress will not be spared from the scrutiny of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure. the panel tasked to investigate all flood control and infrastructure projects in the country in the past 10 years. Carmina Malacanang is now urging the public to avoid linking the planned September 21st demonstrations against corruption to alleged plots to destabilize the current administration, underscoring that the AFP has already issued a statement denying rumors of a possible withdrawal of support for the president. Carmina.
Thanks a lot, Katrina Domingo there, joining us live. Public Works Chief slashes the embattled agency's proposed budget for next year. Secretary Vince Dizon presented in the House Appropriations panel today the proposed outlay of nearly 626 billion pesos. This is down from the 881 billion pesos the agency previously sought from lawmakers, but was forced to review amid scrutiny over flood control projects. The updated proposal now excludes funding for local flood control works, as well as completed projects that some lawmakers flagged were still receiving allocation for next year. The Public Works Chief adding the 252 billion peso difference can be used to fund other government programs.
252.5 billion pesos, which represents almost a third of the DPWH budget, ay dapat po hindi na gamitin sa DPWH. Kasama na po dyan ang mga programa at proyekto sa agrikultura, lalo na po yung Peso Rice program ng ating Pangulo. Kasama po dyan ang edukasyon, kasama po dyan ang social services, mga tulong po na ibinibigay ng ating gobyerno sa ating mga kababayan directly. The President is sending a very, very clear message to the people that we need to tell the people that we will clean this up. Indeed, we will clean this up now.
The Anti-Money Laundering Council grants the request of the Public Works Chief to freeze the bank accounts of contractors and officials linked to anomalous flood control projects. Jackie Pascual reports.
Acting on a request from DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon, the Anti-Money Laundering Council has frozen over 100 bank accounts belonging to current and former officials of the Public Works Department and some private contractors. The freeze order is in relation to anomalous flood control projects.
The Court of Appeals today granted the freeze order on 135 bank accounts and 27 insurance policy connected individuals and corporations allegedly involved in the irregular flood control projects.
Makasuhan, eventually makulong, pero sinabi din niya na kailangan maibalik ang pera ng ating mga kababayan. Ang pera natin lahat.
In the AMLAC request, Dizon named 26 DPWH officials and contractors.
Which includes the now infamous BGC boys, Alcantara, Hernandez, Mendoza, et al., but also includes contractors such as Sara Vizcaya of St. Timothy Construction, Sally Santos of SIMS, Mr. Mark Arevalo of Wawaw.
AMLAC is expected to check for suspicious transactions and how much money are in the frozen accounts. Aside from AMLAC, the central bank will also conduct its own probe using, for the first time, the Anti-Financial Accounting Scanning Act or AFASA law, which does not require a court order to freeze an account.
The BSP has launched an inquiry into bank accounts of the individuals under the Anti-Financial Account Scanning Act. The investigation focuses on money muling activities.
Dizon says more names will be included in their request for a freeze order. But when asked if lawmakers will be included, the secretary says he will leave the matter to the independent commission.
Wala tayong sasantunin. But for DPWH, our purview, my purview here is really to look at within DPWH as well as those who have contracted with DPWH.
Jackie Pascual, ABS-CBN News.
Well, China again accused of ganging up on a Philippine civilian vessel, leading to an injury while in the West Philippine Sea. Coast Guard spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela says two Chinese ships carried out dangerous maneuvers using water cannons against a Fisheries Bureau vessel. The BRP Tatagumpay Yan sought to deliver supplies to Filipino fisherfolk. Baho Dimasendo Daniela says the incident caused a minor collision. He blames
Ang lakaw sa kadiyot mama. Sundo muna tayo sa estudyante rin natin mga Rudy. Ilan pa? Ilan? Ah.